In a 4-4 tie, the Supreme Court justices were unable to come to a decision over the constitutionality of a public religious charter school in Oklahoma. The ninth justice on the High Court, Amy Coney Barrett, recusing herself from the case. That created the situation where a tie could occur, and it did.
The fact that there was no decisive decision from the justices ultimately upholds the ruling from the Oklahoma State Supreme Court. And Oklahoma's Supreme Court ruled that using public funds for St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual School would violate state law as well as the U.S. Constitution. With that, let's welcome in Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt. Governor, welcome to National Report. Is this the outcome you were looking for? What do you make of this 4-4 decision?
You know, very, very disappointing. No, this wasn't the outcome we were looking for. We believe in religious freedoms. We believe in putting parents in charge of their kids' education. And I remind people all the time that you don't have to send your kids to a religious charter school. It's just another option that if you want your kids to have a faith-based education, that the government should not stand in the way and discriminate against that because it's a public benefit. So in other words, you can have a charter school for music or STEM or all these different subjects or different genres, but if you're faith-based, we're going to discriminate against you and not allow you to set up a charter school. So that's the premise of this. It was a tie 4-4, so we know that we feel very optimistic that if Amy Coney Barrett, they find another case to look at, it's actually 5-4 to protect religious freedoms.
Yeah. Well said, Governor, by the way, to understand that you don't have to attend the school. It's just another option, and then pointing out all the other options out there. Let's go on the other side where opponents of the school are cheering this outcome, including the American Civil Liberties Union, which filed a different lawsuit against your state over this very topic. The statement went out, and the ACLU's program director for freedom of religion and belief, Daniel Mock, saying this, quote, "This court has demonstrated a hostility to the separation between church and state in recent years, but a case like this was a bridge too far even for this court. The Supreme Court's ruling affirms that a religious school can't be a public school and can't be religious. Talk to us about that. Do you have a response to the director of the ACLU's Program for Freedom and Religion?
Yeah, well, first off, again, it was a tie, so it just went down to the lower court.
Right.
This issue is far from settled, and so there'll be another case that comes back before the court. The fact that they grabbed this case to look at it, they want to settle this issue once and for all. But I also argue with others. The best argument that I can explain to people, because people will tell you, oh, well, you can't use public funds to a religious organization. Well, let me tell you how you argue that very simply. In Oklahoma, for example, all states have Medicaid, right? So that is a public benefit for the aged, blind, disabled, pregnant women, children. And when you're on Medicaid, you can go to a Catholic hospital, you can go to a Jewish doctor, you can go to a Muslim doctor. Those are public dollars going to a religious institution or a religious company. So the fact that we don't have public benefits going to Catholic hospitals or Jewish doctors or Christian physicians, it's just absolutely absurd. And so you don't have to go to these schools, but to have one government-controlled grocery store or one government-controlled hospital, that's not the way a free market works. And we're trying to inject competition into the education system and put parents in charge. And so we're just so disappointed. One of the conservatives on the Supreme Court got this wrong and voted with the three liberals. We don't even know who it is because it was a tie and they didn't issue any opinions.
That would be interesting to learn more about also, and just to see the reasoning, right? I know that's what I'm looking for too. You think most broadly separation of church and state. I hear your argument loudly, Governor.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.